And I'm News 10 forecaster Mellisa. The weather word not changing much, still warmer because those temperatures are still rising. How hot will it get today? Details in my forecast.
Here in Sacramento, we hit 99, so we're still flirting with that century mark. Today could be the day that we'll see 100 degrees.
We're already talking about winter driving conditions in the mountains and very sloppy, windy weather possible here in the valley.
But there is a winter storm warning here in effect all the way until 11 p.m. tonight for the area here highlighted in peak. We can have anywhere from 3 to 12 inches of snow above 6,000 feet. Though we are looking at above normal temperatures for the end of summer, I know the big question right now is how is your fall going to trend? That's exactly what we're expecting for today. It's very cool conditions. We have the storm door opening. We're not expecting extremely wild weather today, but it is the ramp up to some very unsettled conditions as we head into midweek. Right now, we do have a front that's just starting to make its way inland. It's still positioned offshore. We're getting some rain showers around the northwestern corner of California at this hour, all thanks to a center of low pressure here positioned a little bit further north. But this means increasing clouds throughout the day and showers spreading throughout the day here in the valley. But the next storm that we're really watching is one still positioned a little further off. This is going to push in Tuesday into Wednesday, bringing some mountain snow into the Sierra. If you have any travel plans taking you over the higher elevations, get ready for winter driving conditions. Today, though, showers likely starting out towards the bay, maybe as early as in the next half hour or so. Likely, though, we'll see increasing clouds up towards the afternoon. We'll see showers kick off around the afternoon hour here in the valleys. Not until late afternoon, evening will we likely see that into the San Joaquin Valley and the foothills and the higher terrain. But this is what we really need to be ready for, is a winter storm conditions for the areas here highlighted in blue. Tuesday into Wednesday, if you're going anywhere within this location, be ready. We do have a winter storm watch in effect that will be in place from Tuesday into Wednesday. That's Tuesday morning or Tuesday night, that is, all the way into midday Wednesday. Above 6,000 feet, we're expecting about 18 inches along the ridge tops, which means up to about 4 inches possible around Donner Pass. We're talking Carson Pass and also Echo Summit. So be prepared for that. Make your plans now because winter weather is coming for the Sierra. As far as for today here in the valleys, we'll start mainly dry with increasing clouds, a chance of some afternoon showers, except for the bay where you may get those showers a little bit earlier. Your temperatures will be in the 60s further inland here into the Sacramento Valley, the upper 60s to low 70s expected. Nighttime temperatures will generally be in the low to mid 50s. Very chilly, pretty much where we're starting this morning. But one thing to note is around 5 p.m. and then overnight, that's when those showers will become more occasional. Though we are expecting lighter showers, less than 1/10 of an inch possible for the valleys for today. That's going to increase as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. Down the San Joaquin Valley, your temperatures will be into the low 60s around Santa Cruz and 74 for San Jose, but into the San Joaquin will be in the low to mid 70s for your highs. Clouds will increase. Your showers will likely kick off around 5 p.m. and then also increase as we head into your overnight hours. Your nighttime temperatures in the low to mid 50s as well. Up towards the west slopes of the Sierra, the main player today is going to be gusty winds up to about 30 miles an hour. Clouds are going to increase. You'll see some late day showers and your temperatures will be in the 60s and 70s. Low 60s as you head up towards Tahoe. Nighttime conditions, showers are going to increase. Winds will still be blowing. Your nighttime temperatures will be in 30s and 40s between Truckee and Tahoe, with mainly the 50s along the west slopes. We'll see the 40s between Quincy and Nevada City. A close-up look here at your Sacramento extended forecast. Pay attention. We're talking very cool conditions for this time of year and wet and wild. So 71 today will drop into the 60s as that front passes Tuesday and Wednesday, bringing that mountain snow. Our valley temperatures will drop in the low 60s. We'll kick off a chance of some valley thunderstorms. Notice here Stockton and Modesto will see the same thing as we head into Thursday. Some residual showers may be lingering early Thursday morning, then drying on the heels of that. Your weekend looking good. It's just this week is going to be very sloppy and unusually cool. As we head into the Sierra, keep in mind that chance of some mountain snow will be picking up Tuesday into Wednesday, definitely infecting past levels. So we'll keep an eye on that for you in regards to your commute. It's going to be warm, maybe not fuzzy though, during the afternoon. We're looking at temperatures continuing to rise, and you may actually want to go visit the swimming pool, believe it or not, during the latter hours of your day. We're looking at a couple of high thin clouds pushing in, and that's pretty much it. Ridge of high pressure, the dominant feature, and that means temperatures nearing the upper 80s as we head towards your evening. This noon, 78 with sunshine. We're into the mid to upper 50s at this hour throughout the valley. So you may want to start with a light jacket, but by the afternoon, you can get rid of the jacket because you won't need it. Ridge of high pressure is going to be with us all the way through pretty much the beginning of your weekend. Then a center of low pressure, which means cooler conditions as we head into next week. This low, though, is going to park itself a little longer over the Pacific than we thought. This ridge of high pressure, a little
little bit stronger, and it's just kind of holding that off a little bit. As it starts to move in, though, that's where we'll see our temperatures drop to right around normal, and that's not going to happen. This low is not going to make its approach until the end of your weekend going into your work week next week. But today, though, feeling a little bit like summer, honestly. Out towards San Francisco, 80 degrees. Into the Delta, will be into the upper 80s to mid 80s, all the way into Sacramento, a high of 86 expected. Winds are going to be light. Sunshine's going to be abundant, so it may actually feel even a little bit warmer to some. As far as overnight temperatures, will be into the mid to upper 50s. Down in the San Joaquin Valley, you too will be looking at temperatures well above normal by at least 8 degrees. We'll be into the mid to upper 80s as well, with a high of 87 expected for Modesto. San Jose, 88 possible. Santa Cruz out towards the waterfront, 80. Winds light here too. Up towards Jackson, 86 degrees for your high, dropping to 59 overnight. Most areas in the San Joaquin Valley into the Delta and out towards the coast will be into the mid to upper 50s. West slopes of the Sierra will be into the low 80s today, with a high of 79 around Pollock Pine, 72 into Tahoe. Nighttime temperatures obviously having a bite here across Truckee and Tahoe into the 30s, but the west slopes will be generally into the mid to low 50s. Close up here of your Sacramento extended forecast, well above normal for the next 48 hours, even into the beginning of your weekend. We're talking sunshine, temperatures into the 80s. We should be in the low 80s for this time of year, by the way, and as we head into next week, we may actually drop slightly below that into the low 70s. But today, looking at some pretty good barbecuing weather, I think. Around 6 p.m., temperatures will be around 80 degrees, a little hot over the grill, but hey, if you're cooking something, I want some. Here's Mellisa Crowley with a look.
You know, the Melisas aren't shy about eating, and good weather to snacky snack.
Good weather to snacky snack, and a great way to also plan your barbecue forecast is get the News 10 mobile weather app on your iPhone and your Android.
And get ready for some valley showers, mountain snow, and some chilly conditions with the first storm passing through, because we actually have 3 storms that we're watching. I've got the details coming up in my forecast. News 10 Midday is next. Absolutely, Dan. You know, I call these type of fires kind of weather driven, because without the winds, it wouldn't even be half as critical as it is right now. And it's all thanks to that center of low pressure that we've been tracking, bringing us valley showers. And let me explain to you exactly what's going on. Let's go ahead and take this full, because we have this low that's now diving just right off the northwest, and the front is beginning to approach. Ahead of that front, we are getting prefrontal winds, and they are strong. We've already started to see gusts in the Sierra up to about 56 miles an hour around Tahoe. Now, Reno is positioned on the leeward side of the mountain range. When those winds go down, they become a downsloping wind, and they start to pick up even more speed. So they're gusting to about 70 to 80 miles an hour around Reno. They're under a high wind warning right now, and that's going to continue until about 4 p.m. this evening. As that front begins to approach, winds are going to get even stronger. Around 5 this morning, we talked to Chris Larson, one of the chief meteorologists in the Reno area. He said they did register a wind speed there of around 70 miles an hour. That was at 5 this morning. So it's likely as that front begins to approach this afternoon, winds are going to get even stronger. 80 miles per hour clearly possible where that fire is burning as we continue over the next couple of hours. Now, in addition to that as well, very dry air mass overhead. So this low is continuing to stay a little bit further north than previously anticipated. Because of that, less moisture is starting to track towards us. Here in the Sacramento Valley, we're expecting maybe a 1/10 of an inch of rain, maybe about a 1/2 foot of snow possible in the Sierra. On the leeward side of the mountain, they're going to get even less, because the west slopes of the Sierra will help squeeze a lot of that moisture out of the atmosphere, so even less energy is going to make its way over to the backside. So Reno is in a very unfortunate situation. They're talking about strong winds and lack of moisture to help gain control of that fire. So let's keep our fingers crossed and think of our friends and our families and those we know in that area, as it is a very unfortunate situation currently. As far as here at home, winds right now, sustained winds into the teens for Sacramento around Marysville. We do have gusts at about 20 miles an hour here in Sacramento. As mentioned, Tahoe wind gusts up to about 56 miles an hour. Last registered gust about a half hour ago. Right now, these are sustained winds at 26 miles an hour. Look at our tower cam shot here out in Sacramento. You can see it jogging just a bit here as those winds are starting to pick up here at home. Over the sky here, we're looking pretty clear, but we do have a little bit of cloud cover starting to make its way in. Still getting those patches of sunshine. You may get some light scattered precipitation throughout the day today, but the best bet's going to be later this afternoon up into the evening. But as mentioned, that low is staying a little bit further north, so we may be getting some light rainfall around Marysville into Sacramento. Stockton, Modesto, even a lesser chance. You're getting a little more sunshine, and temperatures will likely be in the low 60s today. Further north here, as we get a little more cool air mass, our temperatures will be just slightly cooler, but we're already starting to be warmer than previously anticipated earlier this morning, because we thought that cool air was going to settle overhead a little bit sooner than it is. And as mentioned, that low is starting to slow, and it's remaining a little further north. So right now, 42 degrees for Tahoe, and out towards the bay, 56. 56. Here's a look at your forecast ahead for the region. We'll be in the mid-50s around the bay, upper 50s to low 60s for the valleys, the upper 40s for the foothills, and low 40s for the Sierra. A little bit of rain, a little bit of snow, but some bad winter driving conditions in the Sierra. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. And I'm News 10 forecaster Mellisa Paul. This morning we were talking about fog. Now we're talking about this, windy conditions. We trade one evil for the other. I've got the details coming up in my forecast. News 10 Midday is next.
Welcome to News 10 Midday. It is Wednesday, November 30th.
Yes.
Well, I'm just trying to get you ready.
Cue the sound effects, right?
Well, you've been telling us all week it's going to be really windy the next couple of days.
Exactly, and that's the trade-off for the fog, though. Here's a live look outside at Folsom Lake right now. See a nice little tag there, just kind of flapping in the breeze. Breezy at the moment. We're not talking the really big, strong wind gusts that we potentially will see here in the next couple of hours. We could be getting gusts here around the West Sacramento Valley, Dan, up to about the mid-40s, maybe even low 50s in some spots around the 1 p.m. hour. It looks like the timing on that. We'll really see those winds howl across the higher terrain later this evening and especially overnight. So yes, get ready for the wind. Right now, it's a gentle breeze in some spots. On our tower cam shot, this camera is bobbing quite a bit. We do have some sustained winds out there at this hour that are into the teens. Sustained winds, that's your consistent wind. When you really start to feel the movements, when we get those gusts move on through. And we do have some gusts currently in the low 20s for downtown Sacramento. As you head a little bit further north and west, the areas here highlighted in yellow, that's where we're likely starting to see those gusts already into the 30 mile per hour range. I'm expecting later that a lot of this will be colored red with those gusts potentially reaching the low 40s. As we head up towards the west slopes of the Sierra, not too much activity just yet, but as mentioned though, as we head towards the latter part of the day, we're going to get more lift here off the mountain, and that's going to increase those winds as well. That's why we have a high wind warning in effect for the areas here highlighted in orange. We could see gusts up to about 65 miles an hour in some spots of the west slopes. Even on the extreme high peaks, we're talking the summit area, maybe 70 to 100 mile per hour winds. Here throughout the valley, though, we are under a wind advisory, and that's where we'll be seeing those gusts mainly around the mid-30s for most portions of the valley. But as you head west, we could see them anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour. That's definitely an issue for high-profile vehicles. If you have SUVs, you're going to want to be really careful. I'll talk about the wind dangers a little bit later on in the show. But as far as your hourly weather, as we're tracking towards the noon, we're still looking at really sunny conditions and temperatures just slightly above normal. High of around 61 around 3 p.m. despite the wind. At least it's helping to dry out the atmosphere and clear those skies in regards to low fog. I'm going to talk about the benefits of the wind. Actually, we're looking at the beginning of some really gusty conditions. So drivers, you had to deal with limited visibility to start the week. Now you have to deal with possibly your car blowing all over the road as we wrap it up. Let's go ahead and get right to it for you at this hour. We're starting to see some breezy conditions out there, but we are expecting those gusts to really pick up as we track towards the noon hour into about 1 p.m. and a little bit into the evening as well. Here's a look at that tower cam shot bouncing around here over Sacramento. We do have that wind advisory in place for the areas highlighted in beige and a high wind warning expected into the foothills. Winds really expected to howl later this evening and overnight for the mountain areas, potentially anywhere from 65 miles an hour, around 5,000 feet, up to about 100 miles an hour around Summit. Here's a look at some of those wind impacts. We're talking difficulty driving down trees here in the valley and power outages possible. So be ready for that. It's all thanks to a center of low pressure here diving down. As mentioned, we start with fog, but that's now starting to clear out as that pressure gradient is tightening, and those winds will be howling not only today but all the way into Thursday. Then as these bars start to spread apart as we track towards Friday, that means weakening winds, and that's some good news also because it's also going to help dry out the atmosphere, and that means no fog even though the winds will be gone over the weekend. So as far as for your highs today, we're looking at the low 60s with mostly sunny skies, looking great except for the winds. We may even get gusts up to about upper 40s to low 50s expected along the west area of the valley. As you head up towards the foothills, as mentioned, those winds will be a little bit stronger towards the evening. Overnight, we'll be looking at those winds dying just a little bit, but still around the 20 mile per hour range. Temperatures dropping into the low to mid 40s throughout the valleys. Will be in the upper 50s out towards the coast. Down to the San Joaquin, all the way from the coast up towards the Sonora, will be in the low 60s here with gusty winds. And overnight we'll be into the 40s as well, with those winds dying just slightly, then picking up once again as we head towards midday on Thursday. West slopes of the Sierra, 40s around Quincy, 50s and 60s along the west slopes with the 40s around Truckee and Tahoe. Windy conditions, maybe even a slight chance of some flurries and some isolated patches across the higher peaks of the Sierra, but mainly we're looking at some dry conditions, teens and 30s between Truckee and Tahoe, with the 30s and 40s along the west slopes. Here's that close-up of that extended forecast for you. We'll be in the low 60s and windy today and Thursday. Thursday. Up towards the Sierras, mentioned slight chance for some light flurries and temperatures dropping the 30s for tomorrow. Drying out for the weekend. Winds dry in the air mass, meaning some great weather for your upcoming days.